Hello Toy Collector fans, Universal Toy Collector here and welcome to the channel. And welcome to another episode of My Collecting Life, the series where I get to speak to you, members of the toy collecting community, about your own personal collections, finding out what got you into collecting in the first place and what gives you that toy collecting buzz. So who is the guest on this week's episode? Well, why don't we find out? Let's all take a look at some of his collection in a musical montage. Okay, so once again, another absolutely fantastic collection. And I'm liking the Marvel love there as well. We don't see much Marvel on this series, so it's nice to see some. It is an absolute pleasure to welcome to the channel for the first time, Peter from the PGM show. Hello, sir. How are you?
Oh, good. How are you, Stu? How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. No. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for accepting the invite. If you hadn't said yes, obviously you wouldn't be here. I'd state the obvious every now and again, but
exactly. Yes.
Exactly. There you are. So from New Zealand.
Yes, from New Zealand. Little city called Wellington, New Zealand. I think everybody knows that. Being Peter Jackson film. So yeah.
Oh, what Peter Jackson film was that?
Did I mention that I was in Lord of the Rings as a hobbit, as an extra hobbit?
You were?
Yeah.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was an extra as in the Samwise Gamgee's wedding party. Yeah. So.
Okay. Right. Damn right. I'm gonna have to. Can you see you? Can you see you in it?
Yep. You can. Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm going to be going through that tomorrow, and I'm going to be watching. I go, there he is. Oh, that awesome stuff. Oh, well done, mate.
I'm in the back going like that. So yeah.
Oh, listen, that's awesome. You was in a big movie, and I think if it, yeah, fantastic stuff. Right. So you know a little bit about the series.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I watched.
Okay.
I haven't watched VTRs yet, but
okay,
getting through them. Yeah.
Awesome. Right. So basically, then I have 10 questions about your collection and about yourself and stuff like that. Nothing too serious. Just a couple of guys reminiscing over old times, toys, and childhood memories and all that sort of malarkey. So it's all about you. Run time roughly about an hour. If we go over, who cares? It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Right. So on with the first question. What are your childhood memories and what toy lines were you into?
Childhood memories were basically, I think I did collect a lot of Star Wars. I do actually remember a visit to USA with my family. My father he worked at Air New Zealand Airport way back in the day. So I jetted off with my whole family. I was 7 years old, and it's a great age to actually be a kid. And my eyes dazzled and excitement when I turned up into this huge toy store, Toy City it was called, and there were rows and rows up on action figures, Star Wars action figures, and that's really, I guess, where my passion. I was a strange kid. I like Star Wars. I love getting Star Wars figures, but I can only remember those stories and having action figures as the Star Wars and a generic toy as well that I can remember playing fondly with. But yeah.
So when you was in this. When you was in the States, what was the difference between the toy stores in the States and in New Zealand? Was there much difference? I mean, did you get much stuff in New Zealand, like Star Wars wise?
No, it's
really
no. I if I can remember it, we got. I don't think we got as much as we did, what they got in the US, because they had huge mega stores. Toy City stores, lots of Walmarts, Targets, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if I may be lying here. I think we might have got a little bit more than we used to and have today, but it's so hard to remember, Stu.
Well, you can't be that old, mate. Blimey.
It's all my drunken stages. It's all gone.
Fair enough.
But I think just to get an answer out, because I'm stuttering now, guys. I think we got a little bit more than we do have now. That's an answer I'll probably give you.
Wow. Okay. So were there any other toy lines that you were into then? Was it just Star Wars?
It was just Star Wars, because Star Wars was around majorly. I mean, I grew up watching Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Not so much Star Wars. New Hope. And I guess that 3 3/4 was probably the predominant action figure that everybody was collecting. So I was collecting R2D2s and 3 3/4, and I was collecting the prequel stuff with Anakin and.
Okay. So that would have been around about 97. Was that 90? Yeah. It was 97, wasn't it? So with that stuff, did you get quite a bit of that in New Zealand? Because obviously, I would have thought, being 1997, the toys would have been a bit more readily available in your stores over in New Zealand. Or again, was you having the same problem?
I think we got more of the Power of the Force, but the blue pack, the blue 3 3/4 Power of the Force figures, or
Okay,
action
yeah.
figures, which I really liked because they did actually presented themselves a lot better in their packaging. Like Jango Fett was in an action pose, which I loved.
Yeah.
Anakin Skywalker was in a fighting stance with his lightsaber, which I enjoyed. But I didn't really keep them on card. I ripped them open as a kid, and played with them and had
That's
fun
what
with
they
them.
were there for, wasn't it? In those days, I mean, I look back from my childhood, and then if I could see myself now, I'll be mortified that I'm opening a vintage Star Wars figure off a card. I'm like, no, what are you doing? What are you doing? But that's what it was like back then, wasn't it? You had the toys in front of you, you opened them up, and you played with them. And toys those days were meant to be played with, weren't they? So, you wouldn't dream of going into someone's room, or like I wouldn't dream to go around my friend's house or going into my room and having my figures pristine on the card back in the bubble on the wall. That was never heard of or thought of those days. It's really, really weird now how we move forward in time that things have changed and stuff like that. Would you go back would you yourself now, if you could go back in time, say to your younger self, oi, pack that in, keep that on the card?
I would actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I would be one of these kids, and I knew probably a couple in my neighborhood when they were kids who actually kept them on card. Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They were
What,
in
the
box.
original 1977 ones and the Return of the Jedi figures from back in the day?
Probably, yeah, probably.
Wow.
They probably haven't got them anymore, but I would say I knew of one kid who was a friend of mine who was a stickler for keeping things in their boxes, like the Matchbox toys.
Oh,
and stuff.
okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Because that was the thing in those days, wasn't it? Keeping the little cars and dinky toys in the boxes and stuff.
Yeah, so I wouldn't surprise me if you still got one or two 3 3/4 laying around somewhere.
Wow.
But I would go back. I would go back and tell myself that, just buy as much as I can, right, and hoard them and put them aside.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, I don't think you'd be the only one. I think most people our age would jump back in time and be doing the same thing. So you're saying it's predominantly Star Wars then? So you weren't interested in anything like G.I. Joe, Transformers, Master of the Universe, because they were the other big toy lines back in the 80s.
I didn't have. No, I didn't collect G.I. Joe at all. If I can remember far back, Stu, I'm trying to actually rack my brain here.
That's all right. No worries.
I'm telling a lie. My goodness gracious me! I'm a guest who actually goes from one side to the other. You can tell I'm nervous. Oh my goodness!
No, don't be nervous, man. It's all good. All good.
I did have 1 3 3/4. I can just say that I had 1 3 3/4, and that was a G.I. Joe. That was a G.I. Joe. But really, I didn't go further at all.
Okay. Any reason for that, or it just wasn't your cup of tea?
It wasn't my cup of tea, really. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think I had an Action Man when I was growing up, just Action through that in. But I just to remember that far back is quite difficult because I had a life of, I know it's one of your questions, but I had one of these lives that I was collecting, but most of it was not collecting. It was a different life. So it's kind of hard to find that.
No worries. No worries. Did you watch any of the cartoons like G.I. Joe cartoon, Transformers cartoon, and Master of the Universe?
No, I didn't. I wasn't really interested in Transformers cartoon or G.I. Joe actually, at all. Okay. So I was mainly a movie guy. I was mainly movies, mainly into the Star Wars films, Back to the Future, and
great trilogy. Back to the Future is a fantastic trilogy.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, it's brilliant. Ghostbusters. I had posters on my wall when I was a teenager, 21, when I was a young adult. I had posters like this, but not But like I love Willow, the movie Willow. I loved all those films. Indiana Jones posters all over the
Yeah.
wall. Lethal Weapon.
Yep.
Big action kind of guy. Collect posters and soundtracks to music.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay. That was my collecting life, really, is to go from action figures to mainly collecting a lot of soundtracks to films.
I'll ask you another. How important do you feel that music is as a contribution to a movie?
Majorly, absolutely majorly. I mean, you see it in the James Bond era. The Monty Norman soundtrack is just a legacy, you know.
Yeah.
To have that dun 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 dun, you know, it's just it gives you a nostalgic feel. It's like toys and action figures, retro. It gives you that nostalgic feel, so you feel it with tingles up my spine when I ever hear of a soundtrack like a Tombstone soundtrack or a Wild Earp soundtrack. It just gives it a little bit more gravitas, and it's and it's storytelling.
Absolutely, because I think the story it evolves with the music as well, doesn't it? Because it can add so much. It can bring the emotion. It can bring all sorts of emotions. I mean, look at the suspense with John Williams and Jules. Those few notes, that's quite terrifying in itself. Then you've got the Imperial March from, like the Empire Strikes Back. I mean, how powerful is that? Then you've got the softer tones for Leia's theme and all that sort of stuff. And I think one of the best soundtracks I think I've ever heard is going to be crikey, what's his name? The guy who did the Lord of the Rings film, and it's on the tip of my tongue, and I cannot remember his name.
Howard Shore.
Howard Shore. Yeah, what a fantastic soundtrack that is. I mean, that is just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
I mean, and he was here for a long time too, doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, 11 years he probably spent scoring that film, and plus he came back to do the Hobbit films.
Yeah.
Right? So it's another 6 years. I don't know.
Are you musical? Can you read music? Are you into playing instruments or?
I used to play the drums. So I was crap at it.
It doesn't matter, does it? You give it a go.
I learned the side drum.
Okay,
military side drum. I don't know why. I was the shortest, skinniest guy in the school, so the drum
tipping you over. Have you ever been to a film and seen it in front of a live orchestra? So they had the orchestra at the bottom, and then at the top you've got a massive screen where you can watch the film. If you haven't, I strongly suggest that you get an opportunity, or if you get the opportunity to take it, no matter what film it is, it certainly brings a whole new meaning to watching the film, because I don't watch the film. I watch the band,
right.
Bloody hell, the orchestra. And it's just phenomenal. All the different sequences and the sections they have, the violinists and the cellos it's just absolutely remarkable. And if you do ever get a chance to go and watch a film with a live orchestra, then I strongly suggest you get a.
I will do that if it's ever going to be
absolutely
in New Zealand. We haven't had really many mega blockbuster epic films at the moment in New Zealand, but if I get a chance to and they do that, I'll go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've like say for example at Royal Albert Hall they do James Bond films. There's been Gladiator. I mean, again, that was a fantastic score. Absolutely tremendous music to that. E.T., Jurassic Park, all very John Williams. Anyway, so when did you stop playing with your toys and become a collector? Because I've got to say, you've got a fair bit in your collection. Where did all that sort of come from? What got you into collecting after playing with your toys?
So you want me to answer when did I stop, or
so when did you stop playing with your toys, and then when did you start becoming a collector?
I guess I stopped. I guess I stopped when probably around about 21, 22. Probably before then, because I got into drinking quite a lot, and partying as as life changes, you know, yeah.
I'll
My
just say
kids,
now. I'll just say
uh,
now. You wouldn't be the only person that's done that.
yeah. It's so, my life took not a bad turn, but an alcoholic turn.
Okay.
So I didn't really collect anything at all.
Yeah.
I was collecting glasses
Oh, fair enough.
and collecting bad friends. And so I kind of really got back into collecting action figures uh, really in the pandemic era.
Oh wow.
So
Okay. Not
um,
long. Not long.
because I did have a first show on YouTube that didn't really do too well with a friend of mine,
Mm.
and it was 2019 maybe, or yeah, 2019.
Mm.
And I just bought and bought and bought because I had a job, and then doing that show that really didn't take off too well. Nobody could find it, and but I incorporated movies and action figure reviews with my friend, so
Okay.
that's why I accumulated quite a lot. So I kept on
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
It was mainly Black Series
Okay.
and BBC,
Yeah.
and they got better and better and better.
Mm.
And once the quality got better in their facial sculpts or the facial printing,
Yeah.
I wanted more. So um, yeah, but I love collecting again, especially the TVC. I
Yeah.
think that TVC has got better over the years. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
um, and I keep them on card. That's the only ones I keep on card. So
Mm. So
that's
what?
yeah.
Because you've got quite a bit in your collection, so it's not just well, this moves on to the next question. What do you currently collect at the moment? So
I
what toy
collect.
lines do you collect at the moment?
I collect Black Series, of
Yeah.
course. I've got far too many of them sometimes.
No,
So
you can never have enough, mate. Never have too many.
no, I collect some MCU Marvel Legends,
Mm.
which is kind of scary because they keep on bringing them out, and
Mm.
you just want to buy them. And I'm going to go, no, don't buy them all, Pete. Your wallet's going to be screaming, screaming at you. I collect Marvel as the
Yeah.
comic books as
Okay,
well.
you collect the comic books as well, or the
Yeah,
comic book figures.
the comic book figures I collect.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Um, uh, of course, TVC. I
Mm.
love collecting a little bit of NECA once where I can get it,
Yeah.
and uh, uh, yeah. So it's a kind of across the board. I don't collect any Lord of the Rings figures. I do have, like in the pictures in the promo you probably saw.
Mm.
Those are old figures, so
Okay. Yeah.
they break easily. So
Okay.
uh, I don't tend to actually collect them anymore because they can get old, brittle,
Mm.
and, and break easily. So yeah, it's I collect many different lines.
Mm.
Um, but I think my favorite at the moment is I'm getting more and more again into TVC. Uh,
Yeah. It's the
uh,
card back, isn't it? It's just that
yeah,
throwback to how it used to be back in the 80s when
yeah,
you were collecting the Star Wars
yeah,
figures and stuff.
exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what did you make of all the plastic free malarkey that Hasbro have gone into? I mean you open your Black Series figures anyway, but has that put you off buying Black Series figures, or are you just quite happy to buy them and then just
I did have a problem with it. It's yes and no from me.
mm,
I listen to the arguments, and it
yeah,
says that has got a pros and cons about it, uh, but it really doesn't matter because I open open mind. I do get a little bit concerned with, there might be a point that people have broken into and then swapped.
Yeah.
That's a big problem that they're facing
Mm.
because that's been happening.
Has that happened to you?
No, it hasn't really happened to me.
Okay, cool.
Only one figure that I've bought, which was the Spider-Man, which was in a case at EB Games here in New Zealand, which was okay because it wasn't on the shelf. And they're pretty well guarded in EB Games. I'm sure that people in that store, because it's only a little store, could prevent that happening.
Yeah.
But I do agree in some points, like Mike's argument, because he's an inbox collector, and inbox collectors they want to see what's in the bubble. So
Absolutely.
that I do agree with him, and other inbox collectors. But I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon.
Well, I think now that the plastic free for the standard Black Series is here, and the other figures they do, Marvel figures, I think, like you say, I think that's going to be here to stay. I don't think they're going to reverse that decision unless unless the profits for this year since they've done it, have been not very good, and that's probably the reason why. Then they might change their minds, but I can't see it. But I mean, that could have been the vintage collection. That would have had a dramatic effect on sales for the vintage collection, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, then I think Hasbro would have had a problem. They would have had a problem. I think
absolutely.
they would be kicked up the ass by corporates saying, we need to rethink this because
Absolutely,
no one's
yeah.
I'm not an expert, but it's not it's not our product. We should keep the plastic bubble for TVC because that's really what the collectors want. That's what adult collectors want.
Absolutely.
So I don't think children are buying TVC as much as the adults. So
no, I think it's more definitely an adult, isn't it? Adult. I mean, they say it's aimed at kids, but we know that it's the adults that are collecting it. It's like the Black Series as well. I think that's also aimed at adults. But with that, they do have their vintage 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi figures coming out this year. I'm assuming that you'll be getting those. Oh, okay, you've got them. Awesome.
I've got one. So one. So yeah.
And will you be opening that, or is he going to be staying on the card?
I'll be opening this because it's got a bit of tear in its bubble.
Okay.
So, but I'll be opening it very, very nicely because I want to keep the card back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you keep the card back as a kid, or did you just throw the cards away?
I think I threw the cards away when I did actually purchase something in that big toy store in the United States. I only purchased one action figure, and that was R2-D2 on the card, where I could have had the peripheral of so many toys. But anyway, as a kid, you're so discombobulated. So I chose that one, but I ripped that off the card immediately.
Absolutely, yeah. So what year was it you went to? Whereabouts in the States did you go? What year was that?
I went to Los Angeles and San
wow.
Diego. Yeah, when I was 7 years old. All the hot spots like Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, Universal Studios.
Wow.
So it was a good trip. It was a really, really good trip. Wax Museum as well.
I bet you must have. Yeah, I think as a 7-year-old kid, you must have been like mind blown by seeing all that sort of stuff because it's a different.
Different world out there. Getting my picture taken with Mickey.
Yeah. But I think it would have been more Hollywood Studios, not Hollywood Studios, Universal Studios, because I can remember when we went to the pictures in the 80s, and I think it was early when Universal would first kind of opened. I was like, oh wow, they had the ET ride, and it's like that one must have been so because you're actually living and being, well, not living, but you're sort of like you're immersed within the film industry, aren't you? It's like you on set at film studios and all that sort of stuff. I mean, as a 7-year-old kid, that must have been absolutely amazing.
I guess my memory of it is the Battlestar Galactica was the most wickedest thing to see as a 7-year-old kid.
Yeah. Wow.
Because they were around at the time,
Yeah.
of course. I don't think they're there anymore. But all the Cylons.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Back then, and I think they had a ride that you could go through. And every time I watch, I think it's Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh yeah.
Hills Cop 3.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
see the Cylon, but you can see everything else, like a mishmash of different films.
Yeah.
And that brought me back, going, oh yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome.
But that's
Awesome.
and I can actually remember my sister. She was older than me. Saying to Mum, I want to have a go at the it was a Thunder Mountain or something like that. It was a roller coaster.
Okay, yeah.
She wasn't allowed to, but then it's just funny as.
Did you go on any of the rides?
No, because I was too small and
okay.
at the time. So I did get freaked out when I went to the Wax Museum because you saw Superman standing there, of course.
Yeah.
But I did get freaked out when I saw the coffin open because they had a bit of a Frankenstein and a
Okay, yeah.
So I hid behind my mum. It's just, anyway, this story is funny as. Sorry.
Awesome. Right, so going back to the beginning of the conversation, you said that you had a small extras part in the Lord of the Rings films. How did that come about?
I grew up in Nelson, which is on the South Island of New Zealand. So I was, a friend and I went because we just graduated from film school. So we wanted we wanted to make it big because Lord of the Rings was just on its way. And we had dreams of making it big in New Zealand, and he did. I didn't, of course, but anyway, it's long story short. So I found myself, a little bit destitute, a little bit kind of going down the wrong path again. But I went into a bank because. Into a bank, and somebody tapped me on the shoulder, and this lady was a talent agent, right?
Oh, okay.
Because they were casting for extras as hobbits in different scenes. So she tapped me on the shoulder and says, "By any chance, are you an actor? Have you acted before?" And I said, "Yes, I have, because I'm also a certificate actor decades ago. Back then.
Yeah.
So I said, "Yep, I am," and she signed me up to her talent agency, and then next minute I was signed up for Samwise Gamgee's wedding in Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Return of the King, yeah. Oh wow!
And next time I know it, I was getting told off because I was late for a costume fitting. That never happened again. Never happened again.
Yeah.
And then
wow.
Got fitted up for a wig and clothes, and next minute I was on set with Elijah Wood, Sean Austin, Billy Boyd,
wow.
and Monahan.
Dominic Monahan. Dominic
Monahan.
Yeah.
So I was on set with all these, fantastic actors.
Wow.
And I had a ball. I was meeting a lot more good friends who were extras surrounding me, and being placed here and there.
How long how long did it take you to get into costume then? How long did you have to sit in costume for, and how long were the days? Were they long days? Were they long shoots?
It was only one day, Stu.
Oh, okay.
and
Wow.
we started from almost 4 in the morning to get made up.
And they moaned because you were late. I think I would have been late at 4 o'clock in the morning. Jesus.
Yeah, that was my first time. That was only my fitting I got told off, Stu. I
Oh,
got told
okay.
off
Yeah,
for
yeah.
fitting, but I
Okay.
never was late on set on that day
After that.
because
Yeah, yeah.
I would have been walked off the set.
Wow.
That-
Wow.
so you had to turn up early,
Yeah, yeah.
fitted. So, and it was really fun because you just get undressed. Who cares who you are? You just get undressed and put
Yeah, yeah.
comes on. You've got ADs coming around, fitting you and adjusting you, and wigs on and makeup. You sit in a chair and they put makeup on you, and you're away. You're away laughing. But that took from nearly 4 a.m. to about 5, if I can remember, about an hour, 5
Wow.
hours, half an
Wow.
hour, because they have to get things all sorted out,
Yeah, yeah, sure.
and then they take pictures of you. So you stand behind in front of a wall, right, or whatever wall, and you're there with another guy, and they take costume pictures, because if you are asked back on for another day, they have to see what you're wearing.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And but there was only a day, and it was completely awesome fun, because you're waiting there for it's like shut up and wait,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of, but you're waiting for hours because they're setting up the scene with all the lights, because it was on set, it wasn't on location. So and once you get on set, they shift you around. ADs were shifting us around to see what it's going to look like on where you would fit. So luckily, I got shifted right bang smack where the camera was. If you can see my hand, the camera was there, and I
Yeah.
was right back. And there's a good little gap between the two other extras,
Okay.
so the camera can actually see me. Right.
Oh, awesome.
And it was awesome fun, because
Yeah, I'm
it's
sure.
such a rush. It's
Yeah.
such a rush. And then Viggo Mortensen actually ran in the scene.
Oh, wow.
Right? He was going off to film in location, and it was such a good unit, because all those actors were like family. So
Yeah.
he rushed in and kissed all the hobbits, all Elijah Wood and everybody, and then rushed back out. So
Oh, wow. Awesome. Awesome. That sounds such fun. I mean, it's got to be pretty heavy going, but at the same time, you're thinking, wow, look at this. You've got the actors there, you've got the set, you've got the scenery, you've got the production crew, the costumes. It just must have been an absolutely an amazing experience for you.
Oh, it was. I can tell you, the amount of people that I've met on sets and are now are still friends. It's just amazing. I mean, and I've been on many sets here in New Zealand, not just only Lord of the Rings. I've been on Avatar set.
Oh,
'Cause
wow.
I was on the first Avatar as a minor, not as a little child, as a minor.
The first Avatar. Well, obviously, there's only been 2 films, isn't it? Bloody hell! Yeah, the first one. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And that was fun and very.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I could tell you a story on that too. It's really really fun.
Go for it.
James, we were all on set, and he was setting up for a shot, and everybody was in there. Like the extras were in there, the cast and the crew were in there, and stuff like that. And we're all sitting there and just waiting for the camera to gear up, go around that way or go around this way, and this guy goes up this ladder, this huge ladder up on a big set, right? And because there's a light up there, and there's a black up there, because there's a black kind of masking light.
Okay,
and, without asking, he goes up and he rips this black cover off this light, and
Yeah.
all you could hear was just not a silence, because there's rumblings. All you could hear was his footsteps coming up, and James Cameron taught this guy a new one. He just
really?
this lighting guy going, "What the hell are you doing?" I won't swear, but if this and if that, he's just going for it, going for from half an hour. And we all sat there because he was just near us on our table. Right. Could not actually nearly keep it in because it's so just damn funny. And that thing happens. That sort of stuff happens, and that was a trip watching Sigourney
Weaver,
walk 10 or 12 or 20 times past us on that scene, because it was a canteen scene. So
awesome.
Yeah, so that was all. Yeah, so I've been on King Kong. Peter Jackson, King Kong.
Yeah, Peter Jackson film again. Wowzers. Yeah.
Mortal Engines, James Christensen movie, and The Water Horse, of course, an extra in that. I've been an extra in The Emperor, World War II, 1945, The Fall of Japan, with Tommy Lee Jones in it and Matthew Fox. That was quite cool.
Wow.
The smallest non-commissioned officer in the U.S. Army, going up. But yeah,
stuff. You've done quite a bit then.
I have.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, back to we get back to your collection now.
Yeah. Sorry.
So no, honestly, I find it really fascinating and interesting. That's fine. Not a problem at all. So, what is your most prized piece in your collection?
You wouldn't believe this. It's not a Star Wars figure at all.
Oh, okay. Go on, Em.
It's a game action figure. It's Nathan Drake from Uncharted 4. Which is can I just bend down and get it? It's right.
Of course you can. Yeah, as long as we don't see your bum, it's all right.
It's this guy here.
There you go. So, hang on. Let me get you. Let's get that on the screen. Let's have a look now.
Yeah, this guy.
Oh wow,
here.
That's pretty detailed, isn't it? That is so cool. Yeah. And what game's this from?
Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. This is Nathan Drake.
Awesome.
Voiced by Nolan North, of course. The game. And I got this from when it was in pandemic. And this box arrived, and it was from China. I go, okay, China. That's pandemic enough. And I opened it, and I was excited like a school kid. Going, yes. I love this game. I love the story, and I've always wanted a Nathan Drake, and I think he's probably my favorite of the, not Star Wars, not Marvel Legends, but this guy.
No, that's awesome. It's good to be different, mate. It's everybody's got their own likes and dislikes and stuff like that. There's no wrong or right way of collecting. So everybody's different, and it's good to be different. So there's nothing wrong with that. So that's your favorite piece. Do you have a grail piece that you would love in your collection? If you could if money wasn't an object and you had like a few bob in your pocket and you see a figure you like and you think, or a vehicle, and you think, oh, I like that, I love that. And then off you go and get it. What would it be?
I probably have a few grail pieces, really. I mean,
you can only have one. Only have one. Don't be greedy. Come on, just one.
I would go with the. It's probably not all that expensive, Stu, but I would go with the grail piece that it's another gaming game. It's a NECA, and that would be Joel and Ellie 2-pack of The Last of Us. That would be
right, yeah. I've still yet to see that, but those guys,
because I think it's a wonderfully made NECA 2-pack. I've really got to see it again because I just want to check out Ellie's face
Yeah.
So you have to
Yeah.
better.
So you.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So you're quite into NECA, aren't you?
Yeah, I like NECA because of the movies like Back to the Future.
Yeah.
When they
Yeah.
fly in a dock. I mean,
Yeah.
they're great. They're great pieces.
Mm.
Uh, like T was it Arnold Schwarzenegger's got a NECA piece,
Okay. Yeah.
which is quite expensive here. It's $90 to $100 in a store here in New Zealand.
Really?
Yeah.
Good God. Wow. So
Yeah,
what do you make of all the what do you make of all the quality issues that NECA have been having recently, especially with the ET figures and stuff like that?
that's the difficult part. That's the difficult part. If you buy any, you're going to have to actually be careful with it.
Yeah.
Almost put it in one pose and leave it there.
Yeah.
And don't touch it.
Yeah.
They say that you put it in warm water just to loosen up the joints, but
Yeah.
even then, I mean, it's going to dry, isn't it? And you're going to have to be very careful with it. I mean, but I like to actually just probably put it in pose and just leave it, and then
Leave it there. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
And then just move it when you got to dust it, I guess, and all that sort of malarkey.
exactly, yeah. So, but they're
Right.
expensive, more expensive than Star Wars. Like
Yeah. 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 I've yeah. I know. Yeah. I mean, but saying that, I mean, some of the Black Series figures have been quite expensive lately.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So, but I think you, with the money you're paying for NECA, I definitely feel you should have a better quality, and you shouldn't have these issues.
Mm.
But then saying that, I think it's like that with most toy lines. You're paying the money as a consumer. You want the best, and you don't want to have to worry about breaking it when you move it about. So that's just my personal opinion. Right, question number 8. What made you start a YouTube channel, and who were your influences?
I started what made me start a YouTube channel is because that I kind of wanted something to do.
Oh, fair enough.
To be
Yeah,
honest. I and I love movies, and I thought, well, hell, I mean, why don't you do a movie review channel, and a TV review channel? I mean, there's lots of Star Wars things coming up on Disney Plus, and
yeah, yeah,
Top Gun Mavericks coming out, and, or do classic films. You've got a lot of classic 80s films that you could actually do reviews on, and
yeah.
so I've done that. But I wanted also to incorporate action figures
Mm.
because I'm an action figure collector, and because I think my philosophy is that it all connects
Yeah.
with the cartoons from the films to the TV series. We all get an action figure,
Yeah.
even if it's retro. We all collect retro action figures that's based on a cartoon. So so I incorporated those two things. I think it's worked out pretty well. And it gives me something to do. I mean, I'm unemployed at the moment because I was a cleaner, so I needed to get up in the morning,
Yep.
do something, and I just love it. And I love this community and meeting people like you, Stu, and coming onto their streams and just being myself
Yeah, absolutely.
and interviewing people. I love interviewing people on their toy thing and life as well.
So who have you had on your channel? Who have you interviewed on your channel then?
Well, Josh last night. I had had the guys from KOC, Andrew and Matt.
Okay, yeah.
Dan from ETV was my first guest. Mike, Unusual Mike.
Okay, yeah.
All the Aussie lads, Sci-Fi from Sci-Fi. Phil from Treasures for Triggers. It's always hard to actually pronounce sometimes. Jason from Middle Aged Kiwi Man collecting Star Wars figures.
Okay,
and,
yeah.
And Darth Rock. So, it's good fun. It's really
Oh,
good
absolutely, yeah. Did you have any influences to start your YouTube channel, or did you just go straight in and go, "This is what I'm going to do"? And or,
fun.
you
I
know,
think my influences was I'm a big John Campier watcher. Who does movie reviews and does
okay,
news, and
mm,
so I wanted it to actually not be news as such. I wanted it to be
yeah,
reviews.
yeah,
Toy collecting is I wanted to keep it light and funny, and
yeah,
so I watched a lot of Shabby, Mark Shabby Geek,
yeah,
because how he does the show is
yeah,
just so funny, and it's
yeah,
so family orientated. It's just a laugh.
yeah, absolutely, yeah,
The ZSR boys. See, I'm getting
yeah,
dyslexic.
yeah,
It's so funny, absolutely
yeah.
hilariously funny. And then you have wild child guys like Lack, you know.
Yes,
Uh,
Lax Savrik, Sivrak. Yes,
uh,
what a fella he is, an absolute legend. He really is. He's a quality guy. He's such a nice guy. He really is. I haven't spoken to him for a while, but we often chat and stuff like that. So he's a nice guy.
I guess all of you guys have influenced me really because it's such a good community, such a nice
Mm,
community, and you kind of taught me a lot because really you come out with your shows and you enjoy them, and that's the influence I like because you're not everyone's not catered for or looking at subscriber rate or view rate.
mm.
They're just in it for enjoyment, and that's the great
Absolutely, yeah.
influence that I like. It's just you just
Mm.
go and have fun with it. So
Absolutely. So, how long have you been doing your channel then? Is it you relatively new?
uh, I guess you could probably say a year, nearly a year.
Oh
Did
wow,
actually,
roughly about the same time then. Yeah.
yeah. Um, Started last year, and then
Mm,
maybe in the middle of it, as I can remember. Um,
mm.
and I've just continued since then. It's just been a blast, an absolute blast.
Absolutely. It is good fun. It is good fun, and like I say, it's meeting people like yourself and others, and we just casually chat about like collecting and toys and stuff like that. You do your movie reviews. Yeah, I think it's great, and everybody brings something different to the table, which is nice. We've all got our own different personalities. We can't all be the same, can we? Because otherwise,
Mm,
people aren't. Do you know what I mean? So everybody brings something different to the table, whether it's through their personality, whether it's that they do reviews or like movie reviews or whatever. So yeah, and as long as you are enjoying it and you're getting something out of it, as in like well, I don't know how to put it. You're getting a sense. I'm not say achievement. It's just a sense of fun, a sense of belonging, and and getting tied to the community. I think that's the important thing. I think, it's like collectors. If they're collecting just for the value side of things, personally, I don't think that's right. You collect for the
mm,
passion of collecting. You collect because it's something you want in your collection and not to make a profit on and stuff like that. If you sell it on and stuff like that. Now I know there are people that they collect because it's a business and they move stuff on, and so that's how I get that. If they do it, if it's a business, then I get that. But for someone to just buy like loads and loads of figures of one figure and then sell them on at a higher price, I'm not into that. And
mm,
for me personally, I'm relatively new on YouTube. I do the things I'm doing it because I'm enjoying doing it. I'm doing it for the fulfillment, for the passion and the pleasure of the hobby of collecting and all that sort of stuff, and just meeting people like yourself. I mean, the guys that you've spoken about, have you got to meet any of them at all, or
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been on Chevy Geeks afternoon show. I think
no? But
once.
I mean, face to face in
Oh,
person. Have you?
face to face. No, I haven't. I mean, because
Yeah, no. Okay.
even Jason, the middle-aged Kiwi man who lives in Wellington, I haven't met face to face. I mean, we've met on the Kiwi channel, which is a YouTube channel full of,
Yeah.
but No, haven't met face to face. I mean, it's going to be pretty difficult. You guys coming over here to New Zealand, but you're
Well,
more than welcome to.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
But
Yeah.
I love you guys coming over here and
I got to say, New Zealand is a beautiful country, and I think it was one place that I wouldn't say no to going to. I'd just love to just go around, where they filmed Rohan and all that sort of stuff, and just those kind of areas. I think that would be so fascinating. That'd be absolutely awesome. So I've got 2 more questions for you. We're coming to the top of the hour. What gives you that toy collecting buzz?
What gives me the toy buzz is just finding figures like that. Okay.
Yeah.
And TVC is getting me more and more buzzed. With the mortar pack TVC Stormtrooper. I mean, that got me excited. The Andor action figure got me excited. Even this got me excited. All right. I just like the style. And that's what really gets me excited. Just the differences, and I don't know. It's the childhood. I think it comes out of me. You see something exciting like that, and you go all childlike, and you jump up and down. It's the light in my face. The ones I like, The ones it doesn't delight me, It's
Do you get a sense of nostalgia when you see figures like the vintage collection and stuff like that, and the card backs, like the Darth Vaders from Order to Stormtrooper that's just recently come out on the Star Wars card? You see that and you think, crikey, I remember that as a kid. Does that get? Do you feel that nostalgia when you see something that you had as a kid?
Especially if it's a something like an Empire Strikes Back Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
You see, or a character. Excuse me, or a character like I was watching Jason on his channel getting the Dengar TVC carded.
Okay. Yeah.
That really, really excited me because I mean, Empire Strikes Back is one of my favorite Star Wars films. And that just got me excited because I really hope they actually do that, so it comes my way. Please come my way. Because that stuff really excites me. And everybody talks about it and mentions it. It is nostalgia, right? And it is for me. It's just like a kid in a candy store.
Absolutely, yeah.
Some of the time, other times it can be a little bit of.
Right, last question. What does your collection mean to you?
Honestly, it means one side it means excitement, and some of it means Pete, you've got too much stuff, right? You need to cull all of it because really you're not enjoying it.
Okay, wow.
So that's honest, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
But the majority of the action figures that now I'm picking and choosing, I'm starting to enjoy, right? And that's not financial either. It's because that the excitement for me is that I don't want to be an impulsive buyer, right? And I just want something to actually jump out at me. And so I think that's the collection that I want, is something that I enjoy having on my shelf. And that excites me, like having a figure like this, for example, again.
Yeah.
Out of me and excite me, or a Jeremy Renner action figure that jumps out.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite actors, Jeremy Renner. And oops, it's falling out. TVC, and just have that kind of excitement and a collection that I can be have enjoyment in. Because some of these figures, to be quite honest with you, I think I've bought too many, and I'm falling out of love for them. As
Oh,
to some,
really?
as to
Wow.
some of them, as to
Yeah.
some of them. So yeah. So
Wow. Okay. So is it just space? You're running out of space? I mean, or will you move them on?
I think it's space, and I will move them on. Predominantly, my MCU figures some of them will be moved on because I've got too many, and they come out really thick and fast because the movies, generate pretty fast.
Yeah.
We've got Quantumania just come out, so they've got the figures coming out. And then you've got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 figures just come out.
Never ending, isn't it? It's just never ending.
So I don't really want to be one of those collectors who actually buys and then says, they're going to be staying on my shelf. And do I like them on my shelf anymore? So it needs to be a collection that I feel exciting to me.
Yeah.
It's not impulsive, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. Do you not move your figures around? I mean, I've had to rotate mine because I'm like you. I'm pretty much out of space, and I've got, I would say, like too much, but I've got more than. So I've got a bigger collection than my space actually holds. So what I need to do is I just rotate every now and again, and just put different bits and bobs on display. I mean, I'm going to be doing this next week. I'm going to be doing some moving about and another video. I think Monday, just to. Just to do some shelving and stuff like that. But yeah.
It's room. It's room for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm only living in a 1-bedroom apartment since I'm a single 51-year-old guy. I'm not, so it's my set is just one corner of my bedroom, and I have got no shelf space whatsoever to stick anything else on in my apartment. So it's the lack of the drawer, really. Either put them in a container or a box, and and just have the ones that I do like and enjoy, or just put them away, and that's where I'm at the moment, or maybe sell some off, and so I have a little bit more to spend on a figure or figures that I do want.
Do like no, fair enough. Again, that's another good way of doing it, because I know a lot of people or some people, they move their figures on, they sell them on, and then the money they get from that they put towards something that they want to get out something else. So yeah, absolutely awesome. Right, my friend, that has come to the end of the chat. Where can people find you on social media? What are your social media platforms?
You can find me on the PGM Show 71 on Twitter, and the PGM Show on Instagram, the PGM Show 71 on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook.
Yeah, no. And obviously your YouTube channel?
Yeah, the PGM Show. Yeah.
PGM Show. Awesome. Yeah. What I shall do, my friend, is I shall put your links to your social media platforms in the description below. Right. I just want to say it's been a pleasure talking to you, Peter. It really has. It's been interesting, and I'm blown away by the fact that you were in a lot of films on set and you get to see behind the scenes, and you're an extra. I find that really interesting. I think that's fantastic. That's something to look back on and go, yeah, awesome. I was there. I saw the guys. That's pretty cool. I like that, and I like the fact as well that you like the you collected posters and soundtracks again, because I think without a soundtrack, a film wouldn't be anything. I mean, who would your favorite composer be?
John Williams. It had to be John Williams.
Given, innit? It's a given. He's such a legend, isn't he?
Yeah.
What's your favorite score that he's done?
I think it would be. It's a toss up between Jurassic Park and Indiana Jones. I'm afraid.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, no, that's fine. I mean, I wasn't expecting those two.
Star Wars is great. It's fantastic,
Yeah,
especially the Empire Strikes Back.
that's the best one for me out of the lot. That's the best film with the best soundtrack, the best poster, best
Yeah.
story. I think that's an awesome one. I
And that
quite
was
like Close Encounters.
sorry.
Close Encounters is a decent
Close
soundtrack.
Encounters, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's another.
mean, you've got so many. You've got Far and Away.
Absolutely.
You know,
Mm.
I mean, great scores. He's been around for decades.
Yeah,
I think he came back for Dial of Destiny to score that one.
yeah,
So, yeah. So
awesome stuff.
some people he said that he's going to retire.
Maybe. Well, I think, yeah. Well, I mean, he's no spring chicken, is he? But I mean, to do what he's done for the last, every soundtrack he's done has just been phenomenal in its own right. Right. Well, once again, that is the end of the conversation, the chat. It's been absolutely amazing and interesting and fascinating talking to you, Peter. It really has. I've really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank
I
you
will
for having
put
me.
all your social. No, it's been a pleasure, mate. Been a pleasure. I shall put all your social media links in the description below. All I've got left to say is thank you all for watching. Stay safe, take care, and we shall see you in the next video. This has been Peter from the PGM show. Once again, absolute star. Not a problem. And we shall see you soon. See you in the next video, and bye for now.